The sprint to Arlington has begun. Welcome into the Bi-District edition of Friday Night Lights. I'm your traffic cop, Curtis Quillen.
And I'm Matt Lively. We're going to hear from Nicole Sheeran in just a bit. Kurt, our area dominated playoffs the last year, and this year, contender for the state championship is a familiar name.
We're talking 2A, of course, and we're starting with the Crawford Pirates. The Pirates last played for a state title in 2016 when Refugio won on a late field goal. The Pirates lost in the regional final last year to a Marlin team that finished second in that district this year.
The Pirates were injured during that matchup, but they're healthy for now and know that another trip to the state starts this week with a win or go home game against Cairns.
Pirates didn't have to travel far. Who knows how it's said? Everyone says it differently. Playing this one at Midway's Panther Stadium, you know, that cross McLennan County trek. It may have been 44 degrees tonight, but the Pirates come out red hot. Lane Lynch takes the snap, launching one downfield, picked off by running back Luis Rodriguez. It's Pirate football, and they take advantage. Cade Smith hands it off to running back Cameron Walker. He gets to the left sideline, hugs it, gets down, running, and he's tackled just short of the goal line. He's inside the 10. Pirates knocking on the door. So they keep pushing. Smith hands it off Walker. Again, that's the first 6 of the game, 7-0 after the PAT. After a quick stop, it's back with Crawford now, and it's running back Breck Chambers taking the handoff, hits the guy with a juke and spin move, and yeah, that's another touchdown. It's 14-0. Smith then shows his cannon. 1 if by land, 2 if by air. What a catch from Trey Doby into the red zone. Some sticky fingers, and then they cap it off. Walker, another touchdown run. It's 20-0 at that point. Yeah, it's Ethan Althoff coming in under the center for Smith, and you see where this one's going. It's a lopsided affair in Hewitt tonight. Final score, 66-7.
Blowout.
Matt, you gave up your front row seat.
I like giving up my front row seat to none other but Nicole Sheeran. Take it away, Nicole.
Guys, it may be cold tonight, but these Crawford Pirates were hot, taking home our Game of the Week Bi-District Round Championship trophy. Final score, 66-7. Congrats, guys! Yeah! All right, so Coach, this marks your first playoff win of the season. How does it feel?
Oh, it's great. We've spent all summer and then through the rest of this season trying to prepare for this opportunity, and we're glad it's here and couldn't be happier.
Now, we talked about your elite defense earlier today. Only allowed 7 points on the board tonight. So how do you feel about that side of the ball?
Well, you know, the important thing is to win the game. The opportunities that came out tonight defensively, we had some breakdowns, but, you know, I couldn't be more proud of the effort they put in both offensively and defensively. So great team win.
You just said it, offensively, 28 points in the first quarter. Talk to me about that performance.
Well, our offensive line played really well. Offensively, we executed really well, and, of course, Breck played well as well. So couldn't be more happy.
And speaking of Breck Chambers, come over here, running back star. 6 touchdowns tonight. Tell me about your performance.
It all starts up front, and I can't do what I do without my offensive line.
And what are you going to carry over into your next area round matchup?
Keep getting better every day and just keep striving to get better every day.
All right, guys, so I hear you guys have a playoff motto. What is that? Can you guys tell everyone what it is?
Pirate Nation, let's ride.
Let's ride. You heard them. They head to the area round to take on Coleman, but I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Is that Russell Wilson back there? My gosh, that was spot on.
Pirate Nation. All right, Nicole, we'll check in with you in a bit. Speaking of Marlin, Matt, the Bulldogs record may not show it. This team rolling, looking to continue and make another run toward Crawford.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year now, looking to win a 2nd straight first-round game. Marlin facing Rio Vista tonight in West with 10-0 Tolar potentially waiting. The Eagles taking advantage of some good field position early. Quarterback Taylor Pitchett calls his own number, runs it in from 20 yards out, untouched. First score of the game. The PAT is good, and it's 7-0 Rio Vista. But the Bulldogs in Ruben Torres' squad would bite back. Sophomore Ty Bell, look for him in college at the next level. He's going to get loose, 50 yards on the run. That sets up Marlin inside the red zone, and they would capitalize. Former Gridiron Player of the Week from last year, Desmond Woodson, dropping back, floating it up Trajan Butler, hello, comes down with it. That's a catch on Sunday, too. Yeah, you're right. And that puts the Bulldogs up 12-7. Then, just before half, Samarian Lofton catches the screen pass, gets past Sauce. Eggs for breakfast, big stiff arm. He'll score, gives Marlin an 18-7 lead. Score is 24-7 Bulldogs after the half, and we've got them winning 38-7.
Last night, Matt.
Yep, Axtell in the playoffs for the first time since 2018, facing Rosebud Lot. Cougars' first drive, Kyle Finnan airing it out, and Breon Lewis is grabbing it. He is off to the races, just gets taken down at, look at this, the 1 yard line. I thought he was in person, but they call him down at the 1. It did not matter. They were stopped once, and then on the second play, they give it to the big man, Easton Fulton. Touchdown Cougars. It's quickly 7-0. Ensuing Axtell drive, 2nd and goal. Colton Horn scrambles to his right looking for his man, but he's picked off. Moses Fox grabs it, gives it back to the Cougars, but it was Axtell in the long run, winning 28-27.
Wow, that's Axtell's first playoff win in getting warmed up here on Friday Night Lights. Next up, we go to 6A. Parker Heights is one of our area's best stories this season, and now the Knights look to do something they've only done twice in school history.
Yeah, Kurt Heights has only won 4 playoff games in school history, making runs to the 3rd round in 2002. In 2002. But can the Knights prove to be a dark horse in Region 2? Parker Heights hosting Jerry Edwards' old school, Mansfield, in the 6A Division 2 first round. Knights get a safety for the first score of the game, up 2-0, and they were knocking at the door here, but first 2 runs fail. So the Knights have to go to the air to earn the touchdown. Plake to junior Christopher Robinson, who had checked into the goal line offense, and the big defensive player scores 1 on offense. 9-0 Knights. Knights defense comes up big tonight, pretty much shuts Mansfield down.
In fact, the Tigers' only points on a safety. Knights move on 26-2 the final. Temple hosting Waxahachie in the first round for the third straight year. A win makes them one of 4 schools to win 800 all-time games in the entire state. Final play, first quarter. Reese Rumfield scrambling. Watch this. Fumble. It's stripped. Waxahachie all over it. Corey King with the recovery, and the Indians take over to start the second quarter. 3 plays later on the ensuing drive, it is third down. Roderick Hartsfield Jr. looks to his right. It's picked off. Nathan Mitchell jumps the passing lane, takes off, cuts back to the middle, cuts back to the right sideline, gets a block, keeps going. He's across the 20, goes down at the 5-yard. Next play, Mikhail Harrison Pilot. She leads after the failed PAT. Up by 9. Ooh. We are still just Nightlights.
As we go to break, let's listen to the winner of the Longhorn Band.
2009, the Belton Tigers are outright district champions.
Can the Tigers win a playoff game for the first time since the 2016 6A Division I by-district game against South Grand Prairie?
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, can't.
Tigers hosting Austin Northeast, formerly known as Austin Reagan High School tonight. First home playoff game for Belton since 2017 against that same South Grand Prairie team. Quarterback Ty Brown about to have a big night here for the Tigers. Up 14-0 busted play. Works out great for Brown and company. Slade LeBlanc on the far side of the field, corner of the end zone. Yeah, there's the score. How about another one before the half? Lennox Underwood with the handoff working very hard. Pumping those feet. Buzz him. Keep him going. He's in for the score. 21-0 Tigers.
Warm. That's all he's doing. He's staying warm.
That's all he's doing. All Belton tonight. 56-0. The Tigers moving on.
All right, and then University, who Belton beat last week in the playoffs for the first time since 2009, visiting Austin McCallum. McCallum Zayed Al-Badani, 2-yard quarterback run, and then Makai Sandoff here for University with a 2-yard touchdown run. University forces and recovers an Al-Adali fumble. University's Jajon Harris 54-yard touchdown run coming up here. Sorry, I jumped the gun on this one just a little bit. A lot of Al-Adabi. That just had me thrown off in the prompter. Hey, here's that Jawan Harris 54-yard touchdown run to the house. Eat, young man, eat. What's the final score? 34-21 University, baby.
The Trojans score the final 13 points of the game.
Woo.
To
love
get
to
a
see that.
playoff
Love to see that.
dub.
All right, we still got so much more ahead here on Friday Night Lights.
Up next, we're headed back to Hewitt for our Game of the Week.
Welcome back to our game of the week, where it was win or go home here at Panther Stadium, and the Crawford Pirates didn't just win, they absolutely dominated. Final score here in Hewitt, 66-7. Crawford Pirates take down the Kern Bobcats, and let's just say it was a powerhouse on all sides of their ball. The offense led with 28 points in the first quarter. Now, this offensive style was led by running back Breck Chambers, 6 touchdowns on the night, but it wasn't just an offensive powerhouse. Defense was also making the noise, holding the Bobcats to just 7 points this season. Now, this is a side of the ball that has 6 shutout wins so far this season, and it's an elite defense that is going to just make even more noise heading into the area round. But stay with us. That's going to do it for the NBC portion, but stay with us because we've got plenty more on the live stream.
We're the Crawford Pirates, and you're watching Friday Night Lights on 6 News!
In the playoffs, it's win or go home, and while the temperature outside will only drop from here, the heat on these games will only ramp up. Welcome into the live stream portion of our show. I'm your traffic cop, Curtis Quillen.
I'm Matt Lively, and I did not like that cold outside. We're going to hear from Nicole Sharon in just a moment. Curtis, the gun has sounded, and the 6-week sprint to a state championship is underway.
Crawford last played for a state championship in 2016. That's when Refugio beat the Pirates on a late field goal in that final. The Pirates lost in the regional final last year to a Marlin team, Matt, that just finished second in this year's district.
Yeah, sure did. The Pirates, however, were injured during that matchup, but they're healthy for now and know that another trip to state starts this week with a win or go home game against Kearns.
Pirates didn't have to travel very far. What is it, a 20-minute bus ride to Midway's Panther Stadium from Crawford? May have been 44 degrees outside at kick, but the Pirates come out hot. Quarterback Lane Lynch taking the snap for the Bobcats, launching it downfield. Luis Rodriguez says, mine. It's Crawford ball, and the Pirates take advantage. Cade Smith handing it off to running back Cameron Walker. Gets to the left side, finds the sideline, starts hugging it like it's his brother, chasing the end zone inside the 10-yard line, just short of the end zone. Pirates keep on pushing. Smith to Walker again. If it works once, it'll work twice. Touchdown, 7-0 Crawford quickly. After a quick stop from Crawford, it's Pirate ball now, and it's Breck Chambers this time taking the handoff, finding the guy with a juke and a spin move, And yeah, it's a touchdown. Smith then shows the cannon. 1 if by land, 2 if by air. What a catch! Trey Doby in the red zone inside the 5. That's some sticky fingers. Pirates then cap it off. Walker punches it in for another tutty. Pirates continue the lead, 20-0. Ethan Alfoff coming in for Smith under the center. And yeah, that's Chambers again. And yeah, that
a lot
blue,
of touchdowns.
That blue area is the end zone. You see where this is going. 66-7, Crawford wins. Nicole Sharon live at Panther Stadium in Hewitt, where this game was tonight. And Nicole, Crawford looked like a state championship contender tonight.
Crawford looked everything and more like a state championship contender tonight. And, you know, it was win or go home here at Panther Stadium. And the Pirates absolutely dominated the Kern Bobcats. Final score here in Hewitt, 66-7. This offense put 28 points on the board in the first quarter of the game, guys. That was led by Breck Chambers. Running back had six touchdowns tonight. But offense wasn't the only side making noise. The defense also woke up, only allowed the Bobcats to score 7 points so far this season. Now, this is a squad who is playing with a chip on their shoulder, had a bad taste in their mouth from last December when they were beat by Marlin in the state semifinal game. This squad is ready to keep on rolling all the way to the state title. I talked with Coach Jacobs earlier. He said this is an elite defense with some senior leadership. They have deep playoff run experience. This is just the start for this Crawford squad, and what a way to open playoffs. They head to the area rounds this week, and it's just a great way to start what seems like a pretty great state title run for this squad.
All right, Nicole, appreciate it. We will check back in with you in big picture. Crawford looked really good tonight.
She looks really cold. I don't know why. It's not that bad out, Nicole. I think you're kind of exaggerating with this beanie and everything. I was perfectly fine out there. Not a whiff about it at all.
Yes, that was what the look on your face said when you showed up to your desk tonight. Nicole,
She looks offended.
Nicole, go get warm. We'll check in with you in big picture in just a little bit. We're going to have to talk to management about this guy.
Sorry.
Matt, let's talk 4A. Let's talk reigning champs. The China Spring Cougars look like the favorite in 4A Division I Region 2.
Once again, the Cougars are 9-1 with the only loss to private school powerhouse Dallas Parish Episcopal. Can China Spring make it back-to-back trips to Arlington?
First, they have to make it 8 straight first-round wins, hosting Fort Worth Western Hills in China Spring last night. I'm guessing Western Hills likes the flip. They also played La Vega in Bellmead 2 years ago in the first round. Keon Butler keeping it on 4th down, and Jatiron Connor gets the stop turnover on downs. Champs in business. Kyle Barton up the middle, untouched, touchdown. PAT no good. 6-0 China Spring. Next China Spring drive, it's Barton again. This time 65 yards up the middle on a foot race to the pylon. Once again untouched into the end zone. 13-zip is the China Spring lead. And Matt, I'm going to ask you a trivia question after this one. Next drive is Cash McCullum in the pocket. Plenty of time going deep down the middle.
That's a pretty ball.
Afford, 60 yards for the score. It is 20-0. How long do you think it took for them to get 3 touchdowns off the clock?
I'm going to say 2 minutes.
3 minutes and 23 seconds of football. 72-7 is the final.
Came in under. Gatesville in the playoffs for a 3rd straight year, facing Smithville tonight in Hutto. Look at that run out. Great angle of it and everything. They've got flags for Veterans Day. Smithville QB Derek Roberson, 45 yards up the gut, evading defenders. Come on, someone take him down. He finds the promised land, and it is 7-0. They're going to celebrate after that one. That's a huge, huge score.
Wow.
Of course, the Hippo's not playing there. And then Roberson to Jackson Handcuff. What an arm this kid has. 40 yards. At that point, it's 14-0 Smithville. They go on to win, 24-14. They kept it close, the Hornets
Kept
did.
it close after that. Earlier tonight, we showed you highlights of Marlin and Rio Vista in the first round in 2A Division I.
Yep, Darren Wallace was at Trojan Stadium in West. He has a recap of the game.
What's going on, guys? We had playoff football tonight, and playoff football did not disappoint. You know, in the NBC portion of the show, Matt Lively said Marlin's one of those teams that they're really hot right now, and you might not be able to tell by their record. All you have to do is watch them to find out why. After giving up an opening drive touchdown after surrendering some pretty favorable field position to Rio Vista, the Bulldogs rattled off 38 consecutive unanswered points. They were hot. They were clicking on all cylinders. It seemed like everybody got a piece of the pie tonight. Ty Bell was running hard. Trajon Butler was making plays. Zamorian Lofton, he got in at the end zone on a tough catch and run. The Bulldogs are hot and they are clicking, and they feel like they can make a run all the way to AT&T Stadium as they remain one of the hottest teams in our area. They have a tough test ahead of them next week, but right now they feel like they can beat anybody. From West, I'm Darren Wallace. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Yep, thank you very much. Darren. West is a reigning regional finalist, opening its playoff run last night against Mexia. In the third quarter, 7-0, Cody Klisch bouncing, and now running away from defenders. He finds the end zone, and he puts the Trojans up 14-0. The Trojans' defense was excellent. Look at these back-to-back plays. Hello! Oh, that's not a good way to get the ball handed off to you. And then big man Cash Fuller absolutely blows it up. Very next play, Brett Swift trying to evade pressure. That's the wrong way. He's tackled at the 1. Black Cats forced to punt. Next drive, Zane Minen from just a few yards out. He puts this game on ice. The West Trojans go on to win 21-0. Now, David Haynes Jr. leading the Wildcats back into the postseason in his first year at Whitney. Second quarter, Teague trying a handoff, but it's on the ground. Nathan Burrows jumps on it, and the Wildcats have great field position. But you're not going to like this if you're a Whitney fan. Very next play, Mason Seeley looking for the end zone. It's picked off by the Lions. What are the chances Teague would end up having to punt on this drive? Wildcats get it back. Seeley finds Marcus Wilson. He has the sideline and the advantage into the end zone for the score. Whitney goes up 21-0 at this point. They dominate 38-15 the final.
Matt, one of the biggest sleepers in the state is here in Central Texas. Let's talk 1A Division II, the absolute smallest classification that plays football.
This is like you're like Texas. This is a Christmas kid right now.
Look, I love Texas high school football. I love small school football.
Yes, he does.
I will give you at home 3 seconds to guess what team we are talking about. You're wrong. It is the Oglesby Tigers.
It says it on the screen there too. Context clues. Come on. I'm going to give you that pass. This guy's just excited. The Tigers, 9-0 this season, with 8 of those coming by double digits. Can the 4th-ranked team in 1A Division II make a push towards the state final? Jeb Dixon has taken to the Tigers to the postseason 3 straight times. They're taking on Iredell, trailing 6-0. First Oglesby drive, Kyler Fawcett on the first offensive snap. He takes this one to the arcade, redeem it for 6. We've got a tie ball game on the massive run. Next Dragons drive, that's just a bit high. The Dragons recover, but that's the wrong direction. And for the first time this year, I filmed a safety, 8-6 Tigers. Now it's tied up at 14. Fawcett scored another touchdown, and now he takes the punt return. And take a guess what happens. Yeah, he's going to score for the 3rd time in the first quarter. They go on to win massively, 60-30.
How about a private school game for you tonight? Central Texas Christian School hosting a playoff game once again, facing Dallas First Baptist tonight along FM 93. Second quarter, Lions go to Luke Childs on the left side in the flat, and down the sideline he goes 60 yards on the house call, 13-0. CTCS leads. I guess they've got better speed and tempo than in Dallas. Ensuing Saints drive going for the end zone, and whoop, picked off. It's Caden Stringfellow catching one off the string, and he returns it to midfield, pushed out of bounds by First Baptist. The Lions on the prowl. The ensuing drive, if it works once, it'll work twice. Back to Childs, back on the left side, back to the sideline. Yeah, back to the end zone. 20-0 CTCS at that point. The Lions win 54-14. All right, time now for one of our favorite segments each week. It is time for Gridiron Player of the Week.
This week's award takes us to West Killeen and the resurgent Shoemaker Grey Wolves. Let's go back out to our own Nicole Sheeran for the story.
After Shoemaker missed the playoffs last season for the first time in 3 years, this team approached postseason with a shot at redemption. And this squad is peaking at the exact right time, and that is all led by sophomore quarterback Malachi Jerome, and that is why he is named our Gridiron Player of the Week.
It feels amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. It just feels amazing.
That's exactly the word used to describe Malachi Jerome's game on Thursday night. Amazing. An 81-yard touchdown pass, a 94-yard bomber, and a total of 463 passing yards.
I did not think he could throw it that far, but he did. I mean, it went over 50 yards in the air, and Malachi only weighs about 160 pounds. And so I just, he kind of crow-hopped one like he was playing baseball and threw it. I knew it was as far as he could throw it, but it was right on the money.
It was the kind of throw that took a receiver-quarterback connection to make it happen.
It's amazing. He trusts me and I trust him so much. We like brothers. So we have that bond and relationship. So I just trust him to throw it out there, and he trusts me to put it in the right spot, and he's going to go get it.
You don't see that every day. So the connection is good. So it's easy, honestly.
These throws stunned the entire sideline. But the best part, he's only a sophomore.
He's done a really good job. For a sophomore, as good as I've ever had as far as improving during the season. I'm proud of him and what he's accomplished to this point, and looking forward to the good thing about sophomore is he's going to be a junior next year. That's a good thing.
With 2 full years ahead, this is just the start for the QB1.
It's going to come to him easy. So he could be one of the top players in the country, in my opinion, if he just keep playing and work.
This Shoemaker squad is peaking at the exact right time. A QB playing lights out, a receiver with sticky fingers, and that win Thursday night clinching a playoff berth.
It feels amazing to give our seniors another chance to play in the playoffs, because most of them haven't played since their sophomore year in the playoffs. So it feels amazing to give them extra games for their senior year.
An extra game that many people doubted.
Nobody expected us to be here. We had some doubters, and that's what Coach Foreman told us, and we knew that coming in as a team. So we just wanted to prove everybody wrong and show them what we could really do.
It's safe to say the squad did exactly that on Thursday, led by the star sophomore under center.
Malachi, that's just a big accomplishment for him as a sophomore doing this. Nobody thought he could do this, but only us, so big.
Shoemaker may have fallen to Aledo yesterday, but Malachi Jerome is a sophomore, and this is just the start for the QB1. So all I have to say is all of you watch out, because he's coming in hot.
He's coming in hot next year. Shoemaker's season ended last night, unfortunately, but that's a really good Aledo team that's going to challenge for a state title.
Yeah, talking about coming in hot, the conditions and the temperature in the studio are just toasty. They're perfect.
Let's get to area scores before Matt gets himself fired. It's Aledo over Shoemaker last night, 37-0, and it's Burleson Centennial over Lake Belton in the Broncos' first playoff game, 56-28.
I'm sorry, Nicole. La Vega falling. They have lost in the first round to Kennedale, 10-7, and the Lampasas Bulldogs falling to Somerset, 27-17.
That's La Vega's first-round loss since 2014. Connolly gets a first-round win for the first time since 2019, 45-18 last night, and Cuero edges Salado 13-7.
Moving on, Cameron Yo, a 39-28 win over Yoakum. And Kurt, we are saying goodbye to the Academy Bumblebees. They fall 22-14 to Hitchcock.
Hitchcock outscored the Bees 14-0 in the second half, or 16-0 in the second half, rather. 24-21, Columbus walks it off over Lorena with a field goal from 22 yards to end it.
Ray Biles had a much younger team. We had to see this one coming, but it stings after winning that state title. All right, let's get a few more here. Rogers winning 22-0 over Van Vleck. And the Clifton Cubs have fallen to Tidehaven 27-7.
Moving on to 2A, it's Riesel over Cayuga, the 4 seed. The Cardiac Indians, once again, 2 years in a row of a Week 11 winning in and a 4-1 upset in the first round. There's no messing with Tyler Crow's Indians in the playoffs.
Yeah, they eat their Wheaties in the postseason.
They do. Thorndale takes edges Johnson City in Hutto last night, 21-17. The Bulldogs get Ganado in the second round.
All right, Holland taking care of business against Stockdale, getting a 36-31 win in 2A. And the Mart Panthers and the Linden Kildare Tigers.
We know Mart won. We haven't seen the score. Mart has won. It will play Colmsneil in the second round. I'm basically trying to stall to give Matt enough time to look up the score.
A lot of pressure.
Real quick.
67-14. We should have just said a lot to a little. Mart wins.
And Chilton, elsewhere, takes down Yorktown 39-14. Bremont falls to Falls City last night 40-36 in a really tough one there.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
The streak's over.
Yeah, Jonesboro 54-6 and Abbott 56-10. Very similar looking scores.
That's the first time Abbott's allowed a point since September 16th.
I'd say that's okay.
That's pretty good. And then in elsewhere, it's Brian Brass's Christian over. Wow, that's a close one.
Close game.
7-0. Riker's season comes to an end on the road. Okay, let's as we end it, before we get to big picture, Matt, you saw the most football guy in doing football things that you've ever seen in your life.
Just crazy. Do we have this photo? Can we bring it up, guys? It should be a still photo. Yes, there it is. Let me explain. This is taken tonight, right around 6 o'clock. Wind chill 37 degrees. This is the Oglesby kicker warming up without sleeves. I've been giving Nicole crap. Here's the truth, and I'm from Florida, went to school in Arizona, now live in Texas. I do not do cold. I was dying outside. I was freezing my butt off. And here's a kid about to play in a football game. No sleeves, just drilling kicks in pregame.
That's a football guy.
Football guy.
If Jeb Dixon could be summed up in a teenager,
that's a good way to put it.
This young man right here. That is a tough young man. Let's get the big picture. Let's move on with it. Nicole Sheeran. Nicole, one more big thought on Crawford. Does this team have what it takes to make a run?
Absolutely, 100%. No question about it. They made noise on all sides of the ball tonight. Offense, putting up 66 points, 28 in the first quarter. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Defense, holding this team to 7 points. You're talking about a team who has 6 shutout wins so far this season. It's an elite defense. They have the skills. They have the composure. They have the deep playoff run experience. I'm calling it right now, Crawford to the state title game.
Okay, I like that call. Especially coming out of the left side of the bracket. You don't have to see Refugio or Shiner or Timpson until the state championship game. It's a pretty favorable draw for the Pirates.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to talk six-man real quick before we jump back up to the biggest bracket because Harker Heights is an incredible story, and my brain keeps forgetting to text Jerry Edwards. Look, six-man, 3 legit top 5 teams in the state, in our area. It's Oglesby in Division II, and then 2 top 3 teams in our area as well, and number 1 Abbott and number 3 Jonesboro. Are we on a collision course for Jonesboro and Abbott in the state semifinal?
The scores were very similar tonight if you saw them. I think it was like 56-10 and 54-7 or something like that. These are 2 teams that play very similar styles, score a lot of points. I would love that.
It would be so much fun. And here's the other thing to keep in mind. And Nicole, you saw Abbott in person last week. I saw Jonesboro in person last week, or 2 weeks ago rather. Look, Abbott hasn't allowed a point until this week, since September 16th. Jonesboro is 10-1, and the one loss is to the reigning state champ, number 2 Westbrook. So that's a pretty good resume. Nicole, thoughts on Abbott? Because of the 3 of us, you are the only one who has seen the Panthers this year in person.
See, watching Abbott in person, first of all, it was my first 6-man game. It was pretty incredible to watch, but that's a team, like you said, they haven't allowed a point on the board since September, and that streak ended last week. But their defense is lights out. And I was just in awe standing there on the sideline. Also, their offense is aggressive. They're quick. They work together well. They have leadership on their team. It's a squad that I would love to see an Abbott-Jonesboro matchup because those are both 2 offensive powerhouses, and I'd love to see what the defense does in situations like that.
Okay, let's go from 6-man to 6A. Harker Heights, a historic win tonight. First Killeen ISD playoff win since Shoemaker in the first round in 2015. First win in the playoffs for Harker Heights since the 3rd year the school was open in 2002. How big of a win is this for Jerry Edwards and company? And Nicole, we'll start with you. Do the Knights have what it takes to get to a regional final where they might run into DeSoto?
I definitely think they do. I mean, I thought that way when they took down Temple. That's a squad who's not messing around. And Jerry Edwards is serious. He means business. He's developed this squad to be an absolute powerhouse. They have that star running back on their team. They're no joke, and they're waking up when it matters the most, and that's right now, and they're making that run.
Matt?
Yeah, just to build off that, you're talking about Rashawn Sanford there. You say this about Central Texas teams. When you have a lot of D1 talent, it usually equates to very good things. We saw it with Marlin last year. We see it time and time again with a lot of our programs. And Harker Heights is just one of those programs that has a ton of Division I talent, and it's led and anchored by Rashawn Sanford. They've cleared house in the regular season.
Right.
They take down Temple in really impressive fashion where they just don't allow them to score any second half points. This is a great defense, and it can be an explosive offense in the right situations. I certainly think we could see Harker Heights at AT&T Stadium.
And really, when you talk to Jerry Edwards, he'll tell you that the only loss that Heights has this season is because it just couldn't find its rhythm not because of anything Permian was doing out in Odessa in week 4.
Which was a very close game. I think it was
28-27,
yeah.
But it was like 27-10 at the half,
yeah.
or 27-7 at the half. But look, and this is what Edwards told me. We didn't play well. We were slow to start the third quarter. We cost ourselves that game. And he knows that. His kids know that. And Permian's a much bigger school. Heights is the smallest school in District 12 6A.
Where's Permian Basin, by the way?
That would be Odessa.
And how far of a drive is that?
About 5.5 hours.
So I'm just going to say, being on the bus for 5.5 hours
Right.
had to play into that as well.
That did have to play into that. But look, that is a team to me. You said it, Dylan Plake in the backfield, and
Yep.
you guys both brought up Rashawn Sanford. When your explosive players are in the backfield, it is a way different ball game than when your explosive players are at linebacker and wide receiver. You can cover those up defensively a lot easier than you can cover up a Dylan Plake and a Rashawn Sanford, and they have a whole array of great wide receiver talent. Is there a shocking loss that we've seen? Lorena doesn't count. Lorena lost a lot, had a lot going, and then Columbus is a legit regional contender in 3A D1 Region 3. So nobody can answer Lorena. Is there a shocking loss that we've seen in the playoffs so far? And to me, and I'll go first, and then I'll go to Nicole. It's Temple, and not because they lost. This is a good Waxahachie team, and it's a really young Temple team, save for Harrison Pilot and Torian York. But it's the fact that they turned the ball over 4 times, 5 times, and just couldn't find a rhythm. And 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Nicole?
Kurt, actually, that was mine, and that's a really good one. But another one that just came to my mind, Rosebud Lott Axtell game. Now, not that it's necessarily shocking, because those are both 2 great programs. It's more just upsetting, I guess, a little bit. I really thought that Rosebud Lott was going to take that one away. It was, 28-27 final. Such a close game. I saw that, and I just went, oh, come on. But, I mean, in Axtell, they're a great program, and what a matchup.
Matt.
All right, so I had Temple, you said Temple. I had Rosebud Lott, not because we didn't think Axtell was going to make that run, but just because the circumstances of the game, Rosebud Lott was leading. They end up giving the lead away. So I'm going to go kind of off the beaten path. I'm going to go Lake Belton. And
okay, I can see that.
I'm not going to say that they were expected in their first varsity year, but we've just seen them be really dominant at times and really good at times this year. And so I would say Lake Belton. I would even say, and the matchup was not good, but Shoemaker. We saw great things from Shoemaker.
We did.
Maybe not that they lost, but they lost in the fashion in which they did. 2 schools that had great regular seasons, and we want to credit them on that, but certainly disappointing to see them lose in the first round.
And the talk around the state was there's not a more dangerous 4 seed in any bracket than Colleen Shoemaker, and it didn't look like. I don't know if, to me, that's a credit to Aledo. That says Aledo is hands down the favorite on the left side of the bracket. Okay, 2 minutes to go in the show. Baylor, Kansas State, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Matt and I will be there freezing our tails off. Nicole, you can rub it in our faces that you're out at the game of the week tonight, tomorrow. Look, one big key from each of us, and then I have a question, so let's fly through it. And to me, penalties. They will kill you against a team like this. Matt.
I'm going to go Deuce Vaughn. Dave Aranda said best rusher and best rushing attack that they have seen so far. This defense has been torched time and time again. They've got to shut down the K-State running back.
Nicole.
Absolutely. Wildcats, they're a heavy running offense. 70% of their balls are on the ground. Baylor's got to be lights out tomorrow.
Okay. The ticket thing this week. Shocking to me. These 2 teams are tied for second. They're 2 of the 4 teams that are still in the hunt for a Big 12 title game, and this game wasn't sold out until a donor bought the rest of the available tickets and gave them away. Like, what is happening? Is it an indictment on the fan base for Baylor that it took free tickets to get this game sold out? Nicole, you answer first, because I think everyone knows what my answer is.
See, I don't know. I mean, I guess Baylor fans, I really don't know, to answer your question, Kurt, because think about it. It's a night game. That's lit. I want to be at a night game. Also, just a side note, I really hope they do the blackout jerseys, because that would be iconic.
They aren't.
But I really don't know. Baylor fans, what's the deal? It's a night game against a great team. I don't understand what the problem is.
And you're one of 3 teams that controls your own destiny in the Big 12.
All right, I'm going very quick. Matt Jones called Texas Tech fans fake fans after that Lubbock game. A lot of Baylor fans in my mention saying we should probably clean up our own fan section before we talk about others. That's all I'll leave it to. There will not be blackout jerseys. Nike doesn't have that turnaround time, but K-State better bring it after their fans came at Baylor fans on Twitter.
That's it for this season of Friday Night Lights. Nicole, we'll see you tomorrow. High school football coverage continues as the week rolls on. For Matt Lively, Nicole Sheeran, producer Ethan Clark, Rob Kelso, Michael Graham, Johnny Gonzalez, and all of us working the late shift at 6 News, we say so long. We will see you next week.
Chilly in here.
Under the football lights.